Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to the round 13 match preview. Now I'm doing it a little bit early just because, or maybe I'm not doing it early, but it's a Thursday night game, 7:10 p.m. at the SCG, so it's only 4 days away, so it's coming up very quickly. Obviously we've had the bye, and results have gone our way. We are still currently, while filming this video, we are still 5th. Despite our loss last week. So after our loss to Hawthorn, all the results went our way. No team went above us. We stayed in 5th. And so far this round, all the teams that could have gone above us, I believe, have lost or not won by enough. So we're still in 5th position. Sydney, on the other hand, are in 12th. They have 5 wins, 6 losses. They've won their last 2. That's their only 2 wins in the last 5. And we've gone loss, win, loss, win, loss. Hopefully a win. We haven't lost 2 in a row all season. So going into this game, I guess, yeah, the immediate memory we all have is the Hawthorn game. We all think back to that. And to be fair, I've after my mini rant video, I kind of tried to take a little bit of a back seat and focus on some other stuff, the Eric Banner video. So first of all, that's out. So thank you very much for everyone for watching that and sending messages and commenting and loving it and listening to it on Spotify and Apple and all the other streaming platforms. It's been awesome. I'm so glad you all really like it. We put a lot of work into it. So to see the reception it's received has been amazing. So thank you very much. But on to this week's game. We're playing the Sydney Swans, a team that, generally get the better of us. In terms of recent history, it's actually been all right. Last year, we only lost by the 14 points. Prior to that, we did lose by 51. That was a very, very bad day at the office mid-season last year. And before that, we'd won, I think, 2 of our last 3. We beat them in 2021 by 5 goals. And in 2020, we spanked them. I think it was at the Gabba at the time during the lockdown season. So form-wise, it's not been terrible against Sydney in the last sort of 3 to 4 years. Prior to that, though, they're one of those teams where every time we play them, whether our form's good or their form's bad or whatever, they just spank us, and Buddy Franklin kicks like 10. So this year, they've not been the team that they were last year, obviously. They made a grand final. They got beaten heavily. They played, last year they played youth ahead of experience, and it benefited them. They played really exciting, energetic, reinvigorated style of football, and we all thought this season they would, I guess, get back into the swing of things, but so far it hasn't been the case. Obviously, they're 12th, but they are still, a very capable team, and a team at the SCG is going to be very difficult to play against, and mainly because of their smalls for me. I think their smalls are their most dangerous players, and it's because their smalls can go into the midfield and they can hit the scoreboard, and that's a tough combination to fight against. We've got Goulden, who's been in career best form. He's a star. Chad Warner just runs all day and he's a gun, absolute gun. I think Luke Parker, they're not going to have Luke Parker in this game, so that's a big up for us. Obviously, Isaac Heaney always destroys us. They've got Papley, Rowbottom, Nick Blakey, to name a few. Then they've got, the lesser likes that still do the job and are very effective, like Florent, Wicks, Fox, Haywood as well, obviously, and McLean, who's actually been pretty good the last couple of weeks for them. So, they've obviously got a very capable team. I think that they are quite injury-riddled in the backline, and that's probably an area where we could look to exploit. Obviously, with Max King being back, whether we get Tim Membry back this week, I don't know. There's no news on that just yet, and that will hopefully come out in the next couple of days. But, getting Skunk back with King and obviously Caminiti would be really, really beneficial. Obviously, they're a very good midfield-based team. They get the ball out. They move it quickly. Form-wise, they've probably been a bit reckless in that regard. They've let in a lot of big scores. If I go back to, some of their recent games this year, they've conceded, 90 points to North. North should have beaten them only a couple of weeks ago. So that's how that's how poorly sort of Sydney are going at the moment. No offense to North, but then they let in 103 points at home to Fremantle, who was struggling at the time. They got done by Collingwood pretty comfortably. They let in 107 points against GWS and lost that game. They got done by nearly 100 points to Geelong in Geelong only 5 or 6 weeks ago. So as much as they've won the last 2, the North game, they got handed that. on a silver platter because of a mistake by North. They should have lost that, and they beat Carlton last week, and we all know that Carlton are struggling massively at the moment. So their form, although they've won the last two, I wouldn't say they've changed. Like they haven't turned the corner. For us, it's the same thing. It's kind of hard to gauge. We've been win-loss for the last 5 or 6 weeks, and our losses, have been by 10 goals to Adelaide, 7 points to Port, who look bloody good at the moment, and then we've lost to Hawthorn by 10 points, and that was all our doing. I think we were shocking, and you look at how Hawthorn went yesterday. Obviously, it's 2 different games, but it just hurts a little bit more that we just didn't give them the respect that they deserved at the time, and we got what we deserved in that game. So we've had the bye now. We don't know really whether, the form of the Hawthorn game is something that's going to stick around, but I think the bye came at a really good time for us. I think it gives us a chance to, not restart the season, but just re-energize ourselves and reset. Get ready for another tilt at, going another 7 wins, 4 losses, or whatever it may be. Just not 3-8 like it was last year, because we've all got, a bit of what, like we all do. We've got that voice in the back of our head that's saying, what if we just do what we did last year and we went 3-8 again and the season implodes, in the second half of the year. I don't condone that. Obviously, we're going to think that because of the form of last year and how well we started this year, similarly to last year. But I think Ross Lyon and the boys are going to be really disappointed with the way that they played out the last game, and I'm backing a big response. Whether it gets the 4 points, I don't know, but I'm really backing a big performance on primetime football Thursday night. A lot of people are going to be watching, obviously, and we don't have a lot of primetime slots in the second part of the year as it is, despite being 7-4, which I think is a bit harsh. But we want to make it count. We've not played well against Sydney in Sydney for a long time. When we've beaten them, it's been at Marvel or at the Gabba. It's not really been in Sydney, away from home, away from the fans, underdogs as we are this round, despite the ladder position. So I think it's a big step for our boys, And if we do get the win here, a lot of us will, forget about that Hawthorn loss because we've made it up. And that's why I say to reset. 7-4, that's all in the rearview mirror now. That's done. There's no point looking at that. The season resets after the bye. This is round 1, of part 2 of season 2023. That's how I see it. So I hope the boys do too, because prior to this, it's irrelevant. And you look at last year, maybe we sat on that 8-3 a bit too long, and we got complacent in the second part of the year without thinking, okay, let's go 0-0. We're starting from fresh again. I'm really excited for this game. I think it's a really evenly balanced game. Obviously, Sydney have had their shortcomings this season, but they're still a pretty good team. I think their backline being a bit depleted will help us, and I think Max King not having a very strong like-for-like matchup against him could be a big, big difference in this game. Obviously, down the other end, our backline's been a bit down, I'd say, in the last month, but I don't think it's necessarily all to do with the backman. I think it's a lot to do with the midfield support and the fact that our two-way running hasn't been great in the last month, which means that the ball's getting in a bit more in the backline. They're under a bit more heat. They're being isolated a bit more. And obviously, teams are working at the way we like to defend, which is as a unit, collectively, and slowing the play down. But if you can speed the game up and get it in quick, one-on-one, that's when we're exploited. And that's the one thing with this Sydney team is obviously they move the ball quick. They've done that the last 2 to 3 years under Longmire. And they've got a lot of smalls to medium-sized forwards that are capable of kicking multiple goals and winning their one-on-ones. And with Webster, with Patton, and Stocker all not being in the best of form, I'd say, in the last 2 weeks, they've got a big task on their hands to quell, the likes of Heaney, Goulden if he drifts forward, and then obviously Papley, who loves a goal. So, we've got Smalls down the other end as well to worry them, and Higgins has had a good record against Sydney recently, but this is a big game, so I can't wait for it. I'm really excited for it. We're going to be at the Bentley Social, Saners, so from 6 p.m, the Bentley Social, if you're watching the game at home, and you want to get around some Saints atmosphere, because it's such a big game, we've got to get around the boys, get down to the Bentley Social, discounted food and drinks. We're going to give out prizes for best dressed. Marshy and Joycey will be there along with myself. We've got the game on 2 projector screens. What else can you ask for? Get your colours on, get down to the Bentley Social, and we'll see you there. But I'll leave it there, Saners. Comment your thoughts as well. Let me know how you're feeling post-bye, whether you've had time to reflect on the season so far, and how you think we'll go against Sydney on Thursday night. Backing a big response, whatever that means. But I think we'll see a pretty strong St Kilda team on Thursday night. So I'll leave it there, Saners. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. We gained a fair few subs after the Eric Banner video, but we've still got a little bit to go to get to that 7,000. So if you could hit subscribe, let's get to 7K in the next month or two. That'd be amazing. And we've got some more big news lined up in the next couple of weeks to announce. So can't wait to announce that when we can. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, Saners. Enjoy the bye for whatever remains of it. And we'll get stuck into some Saints footy next week. Take care. And as always, go you mighty Saners. See you guys.